Have you noticed that getting up from your favorite chair takes more effort these days? Remember when carrying groceries from the car didn't leave you winded and sore? What about those stairs that never seemed challenging before but now make your legs tremble halfway up? I want you to pause for a moment and really think about this. How different would your daily life be if you could reclaim even half the strength you had at 40 or 50? Well, today I'm going to share something that might surprise you. That muscle strength you've been slowly losing isn't gone forever. And contrary to what many doctors might tell you, it's not just an inevitable part of aging that you have to accept. The truth is, there's one daily habit that can help you rebuild muscle strength at any age, whether you're 65, 75, or even 85. And it doesn't require expensive equipment, complicated routines, or hours of your time. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to implement this habit into your life, even if you've never exercised before or think you're too old to start now. I'll break down the simple science behind age-related muscle loss and show you the precise steps that thousands of seniors have used to regain strength they thought was lost forever. This isn't about looking like a bodybuilder or running marathons. It's about being able to play with your grandchildren without getting exhausted. It's about maintaining your independence in your own home. It's about reducing your risk of falls and injuries that can dramatically change your quality of life overnight. Before we dive in, if you're tired of feeling weaker than you used to and ready to take back control of your strength, type "strength" in the comments below. And make sure you're subscribed to Wise Elderly Tips. We publish new videos every week with practical advice to help you live your best life in your golden years. Now, let's talk about why your muscles have been getting weaker and what you can do to reverse this process starting today. Let me tell you about Margaret. At 72, Margaret noticed she could no longer lift her youngest grandchild, something that had never been a problem with her older grandchildren years before. When she mentioned this to her doctor, he simply said, "Well, that's just part of getting older." Margaret accepted this answer because, well, it seemed to make sense. Maybe you've had a similar experience. But here's what Margaret's doctor didn't tell her: while muscle loss is common as we age, it's not inevitable or irreversible. What's actually happening in your body is a process called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that typically accelerates after age 65. Research shows most of us lose between 1% to 2% of our muscle mass every single year once we hit our mid-60s. That might not sound like much, but it adds up quickly. Over a decade, that's potentially 10 to 20% of your strength gone. But here's the fascinating part. Dozens of clinical studies have now proven that this decline isn't just something we have to accept. In fact, people in their 80s and 90s have significantly increased their muscle mass and strength through the right kind of activity. I want to address two big misconceptions right away. First, many believe muscle loss is simply an unavoidable part of aging, something you just have to live with. Second, others think that building muscle requires intense gym workouts, heavy weights, and the kind of exercise that's simply not realistic or safe for many seniors. Both of these assumptions are completely wrong. And these misconceptions are keeping millions of seniors from reclaiming their strength and independence. So what's the single most effective habit for rebuilding muscle after 65? It's resistance training, making your muscles work against a force or weight. And before you picture bodybuilders and heavy barbells, let me assure you, that's not what I'm talking about. Effective resistance training for seniors can be gentle, safe, and done right in your living room with minimal or no equipment. The key isn't how much weight you lift, it's consistency and proper technique. Now, let's look at the simplest form of resistance training that you can start today, regardless of your current fitness level or mobility limitations. Robert was 78 when his daughter noticed he couldn't get up from the sofa without pushing himself up with his arms, and even then, he struggled. Concerned, she took him to a physical therapist who suggested one simple exercise: chair squats. Just standing up and sitting down, repeated several times a day. It seemed too simple to make a difference, but Robert agreed to try. He started with just 5 repetitions, twice daily. Within 6 weeks, he was not only getting up independently but also feeling more confident in his movements. His balance improved, and he reported feeling steadier on his feet. This improvement wasn't magic, it was science. Bodyweight exercises use your own weight as resistance against gravity. They're perfectly calibrated to your current strength level and can be modified to be easier or more challenging as needed. Research published in the Journal of Gerontology showed that adults over 65 who performed bodyweight exercises just 3 times weekly for 12 weeks increased their muscle mass by up to 9% and their strength by up to 33%. That's significant improvement without setting foot in a gym. Many seniors tell me they believe they're too old or too frail to exercise. Others worry they might hurt themselves. I understand these concerns, but the research is clear. Not exercising is far more dangerous to your health than starting a gentle, appropriate exercise routine. In fact, remaining sedentary increases your risk of falls, fractures, and loss of independence. Let me share 3 foundational bodyweight exercises that form the core of our daily habit. First, chair squats for your lower body. Start seated in a sturdy chair with armrests if needed. Place your feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Lean slightly forward and stand up, using the armrests for support if necessary. Then slowly lower yourself back to a seated position. That's 1 repetition. Begin with just 5 repetitions, and gradually increase as you feel stronger. The key is to use good form. Keep your knees aligned with your toes, not extending past them, and don't lock your knees when standing. Second, wall push-ups for your upper body. Stand facing a wall, about arm's length away. Place your palms flat against the wall at shoulder height, slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Bend your elbows to bring your chest closer to the wall, then push back to the starting position. Again, start with 5 repetitions and increase gradually. Third, seated abdominal contractions for your core. Sit up straight in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Place your hands on your stomach. Take a deep breath in, then as you exhale, tighten your abdominal muscles, pulling your belly button toward your spine. Hold for 3 seconds, then release. Repeat 5 times. These 3 simple exercises target the major muscle groups in your body: legs, arms, chest, back, and core. Performing them daily, or at least every other day, creates the foundation for rebuilding your muscle strength. Remember, start where you are, not where you think you should be. If you can only do 2 or 3 repetitions of each exercise, that's perfectly fine. Progress comes from consistency, not intensity. While bodyweight exercises form an excellent foundation for your strength routine, there's a simple tool that can take your results to the next level without adding strain on your joints. Let's talk about that next. Elizabeth was a 69-year-old retired teacher who had always loved gardening. After a fall, she became afraid of getting down on her knees to tend to her beloved flowers. She tried various exercises but didn't see much improvement until her physical therapist introduced her to a colorful rubber band that seemed too simple to be effective. These resistance bands, sometimes called exercise bands or therapy bands, come in different colors indicating different resistance levels. Elizabeth started with the lightest band, performing simple arm and leg exercises 3 times a week. Within just 3 months, she'd regained enough strength and confidence to return to her garden beds. What makes resistance bands so effective for seniors? Unlike fixed weights, resistance bands provide continuous tension throughout each movement, activating more muscle fibers than many traditional exercises. The bands also allow for smoother, more controlled movements that are gentler on aging joints. A study from the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine found that elastic resistance training, using bands, produced similar strength gains to traditional weight training, but with less joint stress and a lower risk of injury. Making it ideal for seniors. Don't be fooled by their simplicity or low cost. These humble bands are used by professional athletes, physical therapists, and rehabilitation specialists because they work. The common mistake many make is choosing bands that are too difficult or performing exercises with improper form, which reduces effectiveness and increases injury risk. Let me share 3 fundamental resistance band exercises that complement our bodyweight routine. First, seated rows for your back and arms. Sit in a chair with good posture. Secure the middle of the band under both feet. Hold the ends of the band with your palms facing each other. Starting with your arms extended, pull the band toward your lower ribs, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Slowly return to the starting position. Perform 8 to 12 repetitions. Second, bicep curls for your arms. Secure the band under both feet while seated. Hold the ends with your palms facing forward, arms extended down at your sides. Keeping your upper arm stationary, bend at the elbow and curl your hands toward your shoulders. Slowly lower back down. Aim for 8 to 12 repetitions. Third, leg extensions for your thighs. Sit tall in a chair. Loop the band around your ankles. Keeping your left foot on the floor, slowly extend your right leg until it's straight, then return to the starting position. Perform 8 to 12 repetitions, then switch legs. When using resistance bands, focus on slow, controlled movements rather than speed. The goal is to feel the muscles working, not to rush through repetitions. If you can easily perform 15 repetitions, it's time to progress to a band with slightly more resistance. Now that we have the exercise component of our daily habit, let's talk about something equally important, the fuel your muscles need to actually grow and recover. James was a 75-year-old retired postal worker who followed a resistance routine diligently for months but saw limited results. His strength improved slightly, but not as much as he'd hoped. During a routine checkup, his doctor asked about his diet and was surprised to learn James typically had toast for breakfast, soup for lunch, and a small portion of meat with vegetables for dinner. The doctor suggested increasing his protein intake, particularly around his exercise times. The change was remarkable. Within just a few weeks, James noticed significant improvements in his strength and even some visible muscle definition in his arms. This experience isn't unusual. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing protein, yet we actually need more of it to maintain and build muscle. This phenomenon, called anabolic resistance, means seniors need to be especially mindful of protein intake. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that while younger adults might need about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, seniors need 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram to maintain and build muscle mass. For a 150-pound person, that's about 80 to 100 grams of protein daily, significantly more than many seniors consume. Many older adults avoid protein-rich foods thinking they're only for bodybuilders or that increased protein might harm their kidneys. For most healthy older adults without existing kidney disease, increased protein intake is not only safe but essential for muscle maintenance, immune function, and overall health. Let me share some practical ways to increase your protein intake. First, incorporate protein-rich foods into each meal. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, lean meats, fish, chicken, turkey, beans, lentils, and tofu are all excellent options. For example, instead of having just toast for breakfast, add 2 eggs or a cup of Greek yogurt with some nuts or seeds. Second, consider the timing of your protein intake. Research suggests that consuming some protein within 30 minutes after your resistance exercises helps maximize muscle protein synthesis, the process by which your body builds new muscle tissue. A small protein-rich snack like a hard-boiled egg, a handful of nuts, or a glass of milk can be perfect. Third, if you struggle to get enough protein from food alone, which is common among seniors due to decreased appetite, dental issues, or difficulty preparing meals, consider a high-quality protein supplement. Speak with your healthcare provider about which options might be best for you. Many seniors find that a simple protein shake made with whey or plant-based protein powder can help bridge the gap. Remember, protein alone won't build muscle, you need the resistance training to stimulate muscle growth. But without adequate protein, your muscles won't have the building blocks they need to repair and grow stronger after exercise. We've covered the exercise and nutrition components of our daily habit, but there's one more crucial factor that most seniors completely overlook, and it might be the most important of all. Harold was a 77-year-old retired engineer who approached exercise like he approached everything in life, methodically and with great intensity. After learning about resistance training, he created a rigorous daily routine, sometimes exercising twice a day, thinking more was better. Initially, Harold saw impressive gains in strength. But after a few weeks, his progress stalled completely. Worse, he started experiencing joint pain and chronic fatigue. Frustrated, he consulted a trainer specialized in working with seniors. The trainer's advice surprised him: exercise less frequently but more consistently. Harold was skeptical but agreed to try exercising every other day instead of daily, giving his body time to recover between sessions. Within weeks, his progress resumed, his joint pain subsided, and his energy levels improved dramatically. Harold's experience highlights a fundamental truth about building muscle at any age, but especially for seniors. Muscles don't grow during exercise, they grow during recovery. When you perform resistance exercises, you actually create microscopic damage to your muscle fibers. During rest periods, your body repairs this damage, building the muscles back stronger than before. For seniors, this recovery process takes longer than for younger adults. Studies show that 48 to 72 hours of recovery between strength sessions is optimal for older individuals. This doesn't mean being completely inactive on recovery days. Gentle activities like walking, stretching, or water exercises maintain mobility without taxing your muscles. The biggest mistake many seniors make is inconsistency, doing intense workouts occasionally rather than moderate exercises regularly. It's far better to do 10 to 15 minutes of resistance exercises 3 times weekly for months than to do hour-long sessions sporadically when you feel motivated. Here's how to optimize your recovery and consistency. First, create a sustainable routine you can actually maintain. For most seniors, performing resistance exercises every other day, 3 to 4 times weekly, provides the right balance of stimulus and recovery. Mark these days on your calendar and treat them as important appointments with yourself. Second, prioritize quality sleep. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which is essential for muscle repair and growth. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. If you struggle with sleep, talk to your healthcare provider about improving your sleep hygiene or addressing underlying issues like sleep apnea. Third, stay well hydrated. Dehydration can significantly impair recovery and make your exercises feel more difficult than they should. Keep a water bottle handy throughout the day, and be especially mindful of drinking water before, during, and after your exercise sessions. Fourth, listen to your body. Some muscle soreness after exercise is normal, especially when you're first starting out. But sharp pain, joint pain, or extreme fatigue are signs you may be pushing too hard or using improper form. Adjust your routine accordingly, and don't hesitate to consult a physical therapist or trainer experienced in working with seniors if you're unsure. Remember, consistency trumps intensity. It's the accumulation of small efforts over time that creates lasting change in your body. Doing your resistance exercises regularly, even when you don't feel like it, is what separates those who successfully rebuild their strength from those who don't. Now, I want to address something important: how this journey affects not just your physical health, but your emotional well-being too. I understand how frustrating and sometimes even frightening it can be to feel your strength diminishing year after year. To worry about becoming dependent on others for tasks you've always handled yourself. The loss of strength affects not just your physical abilities but your sense of identity and purpose. Many of the seniors I work with describe feeling betrayed by their bodies. They say things like, "I still feel 40 in my mind, but my body won't cooperate anymore." Others express fear about, "Don't compare yourself to others or even to your younger self." This journey isn't about reclaiming exactly what you had at 40, it's about being the strongest, most capable version of yourself right now, at this stage of life. Remember, this isn't just about adding years to your life, but life to your years. Stronger muscles mean greater independence, fewer falls, less chronic pain, better management of conditions like diabetes and arthritis, and more energy for the activities that bring you joy. Let's recap what we've learned today about rebuilding your muscle strength like you're 40 again. Our one daily habit is actually a combination of 3 components working together: consistent resistance training, adequate protein intake, and proper recovery. Start with simple bodyweight exercises like chair squats, wall push-ups, and seated abdominal contractions. As you progress, consider adding resistance bands to challenge your muscles further. Fuel your recovery with sufficient protein. Aim for 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, spread throughout your meals and snacks. And give your body time to recover between strength sessions, focusing on consistency rather than intensity. Remember, you don't need fancy equipment, expensive gym memberships, or complicated routines. You just need commitment to this simple habit and patience with the process. Progress may seem slow at first, but it compounds over time. Which exercise from today's video will you try first? Share in the comments below. I read every comment and love to hear about your personal journey. If you've already been strength training, tell us what's worked best for you. Your experience might inspire someone else who's just getting started. If you found this information valuable, please hit the like button so more seniors can discover this content. And be sure to subscribe to Wise Elderly Tips. We publish new videos every single day with practical advice to help you maintain your independence and enjoy your golden years to the fullest. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, you're never too old to become stronger, and even small improvements in strength can dramatically impact your quality of life. Stay consistent, stay patient with yourself, and I'll see you in the next video with more tips for aging with vitality and purpose. Until next time, keep moving, keep strengthening, and keep living your best life, regardless of your age.